Not only are we live, we're back from being suspended. They got your boy. Let me bring this back. They took your boy out last week. Let me share this to my Facebook channel. Your boy out last week. We back. But they done suspended your boy. Your boy dropped a free verse called COVID Killer. And they done took your boy out. So I've been gone for a week. So your boy is back, essentially talking about all the shit that happened when I was gone. And what's the premise to all the shit that happened when I was gone? Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown versus everybody. Kwame Brown versus everybody. And to be honest, Kwame Brown is winning. Kwame Brown versus everybody, and Kwame Brown is winning. For one, let me shout out and salute and praise Kwame Brown. Why? He's going up against a system. This is why it's just Kwame Brown versus everybody. Most people in that entertainment industry that y'all appeal to, that you guys watch on a consistent basis, is a part of that system designed, that we know is designed to suppress a certain people. When Kwame Brown mentions the go along, get along gang, y'all know exactly what he's talking about, but he has to talk in a specific type of code because, again, everything he's saying is applicable. You just got to pay attention. There's gatekeepers in any industry. Whatever job you at, there are certain people to prevent you from crossing that threshold of being someone of stature or of being in the in crowd. The go along, get along gang ain't no different. Kwame Brown could be the face today in which the go along, get along gang is against. But what happened when Colin Kaepernick took a knee? Think about all the people he's going against and what they said in regards to Colin Kaepernick. What was Stephen A's first stance against Colin Kaepernick for taking a knee against police brutality against people of color? Stephen A went right to bat for the NFL. Oh no, Colin Kaepernick, you backup quarterback. The worst type of rhetoric we hear, like Kwame Brown said, ironically, and that's the thing. I don't appeal to Kwame Brown. I don't appeal to nobody on this planet. I appeal to my own principles and my own morals. So for me, it's not about Kwame Brown. It's not about any of the messengers for whoever's speaking in this world. Fuck the messenger. Right now, if I'm the messenger, fuck the messenger. It's about the motherfucking message. So the message in which Kwame Brown is implementing is telling you that this whole go along, get along gang, this conglomerate, they're here for a reason. Kwame is winning because Kwame is them niggas. Kwame's just hopping on YouTube with his own autonomy, saying what the fuck he wanna say with his own autonomy, and clapping at all these niggas who was a part of the go along, get along gang in a black face. Now in Dame's world, this ain't me saying I got anything against anybody. I want love for everybody. But the truth don't need support. Whenever you see a pro-black Pan-African type stance, Stephen A. Smith is the first one vehemently against it. When Kyrie Irving said, let's create a new league, a black-owned league, how quick was that idea disassembled and demolished? Because you know why? The go along, get along gang team, Stephen A. Smith, Charlemagne, whoever, all these media puppets, they told you he was crazy. Whenever somebody goes against this system, they're going to be perceived and viewed as crazy. They tried to make Kwame Brown look crazy after 20 years of just clowning and ridiculing this man, not saying he's crazy, not even giving us any character trait from Kwame Brown other than sadness. Like I watch his videos, I haven't watched them all, but he said they got my head down. They got me looking like I'm some type of punk. All we gotta do is rewind the tape to see if what he's saying applies. Because again, it ain't about the messenger, it's about the message. So I went back and I'm looking like, damn, look how this black man was conveyed. Number one pick, came from poverty. Melanated being, we know about the plight and we know about the struggle. So for us to be slandering, like he said, taking food from another man's plate, that's been Stephen A. Smith's job the whole time. Stephen A. Smith's whole job the whole time has been to talk shit about black men. He ain't lying. He covered Allen Iverson for years, slandering him. They had a back and forth relationship, but he was one of the forefronts in calling Iverson not a leader, saying he lacked leadership. When y'all see Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman have these discussions and these issues about race, who seems more adamant about protecting the investment of the community? Stephen A. Smith is always seemingly taking the side of the oppressor. Stephen A. Smith is always seen taking the side of the oppressor. Shout out to Lewis Sports Network, real one. I see you doing your thing, man, doing your Dougie, man, in that sports realm. One of the better journalists, analysis, self-employed analysis. And it's funny he hops on here because we're speaking about the independence of just the autonomy of people opposed to working and going along with the system. So for me, for Kwame Brown, what he been stressing, we need to stop supporting systems that vehemently oppress everybody. Exactly. Stephen A. is an entertainer. Most of these analysis we see, they do it for entertainment purposes. Because again, this system in place is not here to inform you at a maximized level. Why do you guys think that under these circumstances, this last 18 months, they're still essential? These entertainers, these TV figures, all of sports was open while the whole world was shut down. What does that indicate to you about what entertainment means to the higher ups? They want to keep us entertained at all times because that will distract us from being informed. In the ancient times, the Romans, the Greeks used sports for societies to distract them from political atrocities, literal wars going on outside. But because we're watching this whole big gathering and sporting event and it feels good, we don't know what the fuck is going on outside. So the reason why people like Stephen A. is on TV every day, some of you watch Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman. Every day, some of you watch Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Shout out to Shannon Sharp. I think he's a real one. He's in the system though. You either in the system or you not. It don't matter. You can't slice it. Everybody that Kwame Brown is talking about, everybody he's talking about, Charlemagne the God. Think about what Charlemagne the God has done in his history. In regards, think about what the Breakfast Club even is as an entity. They get up there on the radio and talk about people's lives. Gossip. the lowest form of information in which you can obtain. Gossip triggers your learning curves the least. It's just talking about what happened with somebody else in which you have no means of solution or no means to even discuss. You talking about a third party source in which you don't know. So this cannot trigger your learning center about yourself or about the world too much. Doesn't expand the mind to gossip, let alone belittling while you gossip. I done seen Charlemagne belittle or talk down on so many people. He's a provocateur. Stephen A. Smith, Charlemagne the God are antagonists in the black community. How many people do y'all consider real ones? Like, real recognize real. How many people y'all consider real ones fucking with Charlemagne the God and fucking with Stephen A. Smith? Now, I'm not gonna dive into all of Kwame's beefs because just from observation, I don't know none of these people personally. I always thought Matt Barnes was a real one. I always thought Stephen Jackson was a real one. Some people conduct themselves within the system in a real way. However, you still in the system. All the smoke when Stephen Jackson and Matt Barnes do all the smoke, they not reaping the benefits from all the smoke. So what does that tell you? They have a hierarchy, a higher appeal from all the smoke. So what that also should tell you is that they're not the main function of all the smoke, but they are the faces and the figureheads, and they do have great character and charisma to uh, bring more attention to all the smoke, but they are not the brains nonetheless. So when you're not the brain, you're not the primary function. So when Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes do advertisements, they got advertisements about shit that they probably don't care about. Why? Because that's when the hierarchy guys come up and tell them, this is what we want you to do. This is what we want you to talk about today. So when Kwame is referencing a go along, get along game, even though I think them is two brothers who I believe to be real, third party, they still have to go along and get along with this agenda. Kwame Brown don't have to listen to nobody. Like he been telling you niggas the whole time, all he been using is his mama recipe. And if I must segue, shout out to Kwame Brown for being a fucking comedian. Who would have thought? Who would have thought Kwame Brown was a motherfucking comedian and an intellectual? Now I know some of y'all are not even used to referencing black people as being intellectual, let alone black basketball players. And I'm not saying he's the smartest motherfucker on the planet, but when you listen to he articulates himself well. He knows the system well. He's not no fucking punk or no dummy like they tried to make him look whenever he was getting scolded by Jordan or scolded by Kobe in these pictures. He's not what niggas thought he was. I apologize for even having a media influence perception on a Kwame Brown. Now, granted, this ain't me saying getting into that realm of what they're talking about. Like, oh, we talked about your hoops. I don't think Kwame was the best hooper. He didn't have the best hands. He couldn't, not saying he had small, but he couldn't catch very well. I watched the Lakers my whole life. So prime Kobe had Kwame, Smush, Brian Cook, Lamar Odom, Devin George might have been on that team. I know he was on championship Lakers, but to say the least, I seen Kwame Brown for over 300 games, 300 plus games. And quick feet, stout man-to-man center defender, like a Kendrick Perkins, so to say. But offensively, he wasn't inclined. But that's beside the point. The main point is, what is he doing right now? And who is he doing it to? And when we talk about right and wrong, which is arbitrary, none of us know what's right and what's wrong in this world. But if you have tapped into your sense of self to any extent, then you have your own ethics. Did I see his wizard years? I did, and I see part of his wizard years, And I will say part of his wizard years, when used at, he could be a finisher at the rim. He could be a formidable opponent. One thing about Kwame, like they clowned him about the screens and all that shit, but these are intangibles necessary. Playing a point guard my whole life. Somebody who set a screen for me, who was a great screen setter, was a fucking lifesaver. The only thing with Kwame is from the roll and the screen. If I want to give you the pass, he might not catch that motherfucker. He didn't have the best sense, but setting screens, uh, being a big brute body, not no punk down low. I seen a little bit of Wizards Kwame to your point. More so Lakers, but I seen a little bit of Wizards Kwame. You feel me? But all that basketball shit is beside the point. Like Kwame Brown said, he said, y'all talking about me basketball. I'm talking about you niggas' lives. So more so than just being a hooper, it's about being a stand-up individual. It's about having ethics. It's about having principles. It's about having a moral compass. So when I say who's right and who's wrong about this endeavor, it's nothing but sound validity when Kwame Brown is saying who he's going against are also a part or they're cogs in a wheel of white supremacy. All the people he's talked about are cogs in the wheel of white supremacy. Whether or not I'm emotionally invested or I like the ideologies that these people bring about, all of those people, this is why when they came out with their statements, they seem PR-ish. This is why Kwame Brown's comments seem incendiary to most people because most people are in this box that appeals and listens to the go along, get along gang. Everybody don't appeal to that. Some of y'all feel the truth inside y'all bones to where like these narratives, like you, I'm just going on tangents, but you talk about the narratives of black quarterbacks. I heard Kwame Brown speak about that. You hire a nigga like Tim Tebow at tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then you leave a nigga like Vince Young workless, jobless, RG3 speculative, Cam Newton MVP speculative right now with the Matt Jones at his backup or whoever the case may be. When you see a black quarterback in history be undermined, not able to throw as the rhetoric, not able to lead as the rhetoric. You guys can individualize these instances all you want. You can say, okay, no, that's Mike Vick, he just can't throw. Or no, that's Vince Young. Every black quarterback, you guys can put it to an individual fault. But at some point, you have to take all those individual accounts and anecdotes and make a conclusion, a grounded conclusion as to what's going on and why this is the case. So when it comes to quarterbacking and the rhetoric, and then you talk about Steve McNair, or you talk about Art Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson, it doesn't correlate to say that these people just lack leadership or lack intelligence. But what does correlate is that this system of NFL has always told us that they did. The Sis Warren Moon. It's been so many decent black quarterbacks, but the rhetoric has always been dismal and trash. So my point to say that is the go along, get along game, a part of their rhetoric is to slander black quarterbacks. A part of their rhetoric is to slander anybody showing black activism. So when you hear Stephen A. Smith talk about a Cam Newton and how he can't throw belligerently in an entertainment fashion to appeal to the masses, screaming, yelling, being that provocateur, being to me reflecting black ignorance, if you will, even though Stephen A is a maestro with the words. I'm not gonna deny that. Stephen A is good with the words. But when you know they tell him to keep that yelling shit up, you know if he was to dial it back and chill, the higher up is gonna tap him on the shoulder and like Stephen A. Why you not doing your dance no more, Stephen A? What happened? And then sure enough, the next day he gonna start screaming. But you hear him talking You hear him talk about Aaron Rodgers and you hear him talk about a black quarterback, it don't sound the same. You hear him talk about Ben Roethlisberger and you hear him talk about Deshaun Watson and they incidents, it don't sound the same. A lot of these people in this world and a lot of these people in this industry have a subconscious appeal to the system in place. It's just somehow we always allow the system to tell us, hey, it's more individual assessments. It's more them. But when it's the white folks committing these atrocities, we give them a pass. It's almost like affluenza for athletes. Ben Roethlisberger, we don't talk about what he was doing. We don't talk about nothing. Ben Roethlisberger, good quarterback for Pittsburgh Steelers, high end franchise. You think any black quarterback accused of rape would be playing for the fucking Pittsburgh Steelers? Mike Vick's friends were dogfighting, and he was aware of it. And that nigga did 18 months in jail. That's Michael Vick, number one pick, possibly on his way to being the best football player. You gotta think, put a nigga in jail for 18 months, what's that's gonna do to your psyche? What's that's gonna do to your career, even though he came back on the Eagles and showed black excellence? But Stephen A., these provocateurs that Kwame Brown is referring to, they killed him. They killed him. They killed Michael Vick. And now Michael Vick has been reduced to being a part of the go along, get along gang. That's how they do niggas. Because when they kill you, you got one choice. You can cross over and say fuck the system, and now you have to live without this big ass system. Cause mind you, that's why Kwame Brown is winning to me. He ain't no system. He's an individual, and he got other individuals outside of the system. Nigga bringing Judge Joe Brown and Devin George, people who have been out the system and removed from the go along, get along game for a while. So the fact that he's going against them, hitting these niggas where it hurts, and they ain't really affecting him aside from rhetoric saying he's crazy because he ain't got no dirt, saying he's a weak basketball player, which is just sports. Come on now. Dame's World is right behind that. I know this system in place because this same system in place will make you broke once you go against a system. This same system in place will kill you once you go against this system. Think about everybody who went against the system in your lifetime, everybody who spoke words or committed actions that were indicative of breaking this system of white supremacy and Western enslavement. Shout out to Nipsey Hussle. He was not for the system. Shout out to Dr. Sebi. He was not for the system. And ironically, you see holistic, homeopathic ways of lifestyles not being taught, right? And then you see nigga like Stephen A. Smith pumping COVID to the max, pumping the man-made inflictions to the max. Wear a mask, distance. LeBron, LeBron need to let us know if he got vaccinated or not. Why the fuck does LeBron need to let us know whether or not he got vaccinated or not? Who the fuck are you, Stephen A. Smith, to have to be let known something? He ain't gotta let you. LeBron has been the most healthy motherfucker any of us have ever seen in the last 35 years. So for us to demand that he gets a vaccination to be not even exempt, because again, we know this for a fact. I stand for truth. I don't stand for rhetoric. We know you can still get coronavirus with the vaccination. We know that for a fact. So the fact that Stephen A. Puppeteer is telling us LeBron needs to let us know for what? Who are you working for? Who are you working for? A system pumping these drugs? And I'm bringing it back full circle because, again, pumping these man-made drugs and then talking about people going against the system. You talk about the Huey Newtons. You talk about the Malcolm X's. You talk about the Dr. Sebes. You talk about the Colin Kaepernicks. You talk about anybody who goes against that system, you're going to see shit like homeopathic remedies. You're going to see shit like black consciousness. Scroll on Kyrie Irving's page for the last year and a half, and you're going to be enlightened, especially if you're a melanated being. You're going to be enlightened if you choose to research the things. You can look at the imagery and speculate, but if you look at the imagery of what he's posting and then you research for yourself what these things may represent in society, Kyrie Irving has been giving you guys light for the last year and a half. Oh, we're chastising him. We're gonna make him out to be stupid. Every time I talk to a regular human being, all it means to be regular is to not think. Once you start thinking, you irregular. As soon as you start using this motherfucker for yourself, you become abnormal. All it means to be normal is an idea. Humans ain't an idea. It's that simple. When you tapped into yourself as an individual human and you start thinking, you're not gonna be normal. But when you don't think, you're gonna be as normal as can be. So the normal human, soon as Kyrie gained consciousness, you can see the moment in which he gained consciousness. Because remember, Kyrie was a nigga who only dated white women at first, right? At least that's what was professed. I felt like I seen him say something about black women and boats and shit. So you can see the moment which transition his cognition. He gained some information and some light, then start moving differently. Soon as he start moving differently, he's a quack. He's crazy. Soon as Kwame Brown start talking about all the smoke and Stephen A. and Charlemagne the God, they start talking about how his daddy was violent and he was crazy. When we talk about Kwame Brown is winning right now because he going against a system that makes these degular motherfuckers blinded to the truth. Blinded to the truth. Most people think based on rhetoric, not they eyes. So most of us had the same opinion on Kwame Brown. Most of us had the same opinion. He got small hands. He can't hoop. He dumb, probably. You feel me? These are the presumptions based on the images we were given. But soon as a nigga went live, showed you he was an intelligent man. He know how to speak. Happened to be one of the funniest niggas on the planet. Taught me things. He taught me that my mama's recipe is what I'm finna be giving to you niggas all day. Like he said, everybody got their mama's recipe. It's obvious. Then you're made up genetically from your mom and your dad. So her recipe is what you out there put to the world. He out there slanging his mama's recipe to the system, and these niggas is getting cooked. These niggas is getting cooked. And the thing is, there's nothing they can really do because he's freer than them. He's freer than them. None of those people, look, this is fact. None of those people can just go on Instagram Live and say whatever the fuck they want. You seen Paul Pierce? Nigga had 2 women and a drink. That's illegal? No, you know it's not. You guys know it's not. But because he's working for a system that wants to be represented in a fake way, because we know that's the real Paul. He showed us the real Paul Pierce for 2 minutes. That's how he get out. Okay, that's him. That's him being free. But when you work for these systems, ain't no such thing as free, nigga. Take that shit down. Matter of fact, you're fired. Fuck taking it down. You're gone. You misrepresented us. You misrepresented us, even though the motherfuckers who we don't see, who Paul Pierce is working for, might have a pedophilic nature, might have a rapacious nature, might have a capitalistic, self-indulgent, narcissistic nature. Yet when he get on when he get on live, oppose his autonomy, he fired. That's why they losing. That's why they can't fuck with a nigga like Kwame Brown, because he stands for his own ethics. He's principled. And then the reason why they losing is because the system always put that rhetoric out there that's not founded by grounds. So if there's no grounds to your rhetoric, somebody who has the truth can now assess that rhetoric and pick that shit apart, deconstruct it and tear it up. Like they put out the rhetoric that he was potentially violent, Kwame Brown. Then you start looking at his track record, got some fights, he's a man. But you look at him being a provocateur of violence, known for that, no criminal record. So it's not grounded. A lot of the system's claims. Don't be grounded. Kwame Brown's claims be grounded as fuck. Yeah, 1 million. He said some shit about athletes and just if they really wanted to support, or millionaires, if they really wanted to support their community, they can do it individually in their community, and then it serves good for a collective. 1 millionaire in 50 states deliberately trying to make a difference is gonna make a difference. So imagine 2 millionaires in 50 states, 3, 4. Key point being, most of these niggas don't really want to help their communities. Most of these niggas are attached to a system that tells them not to help their communities. How about we talk about that? Because don't think that some of these people don't want to. The shit could be contractual. Look at Jay-Z's career. I know some of you niggas love Jay-Z. But look at his career. From when you seen him moving in his essence, going with Dame Dash, forming a black-owned independent conglomerate, potentially, and then having to depart from Dame Dash. Who's the independent person out of Dame Dash and Jay-Z right now? This is one's true, one's false. Who is not having anybody above him? Chain of command. Dame Dash or Jay-Z right now? It's Dame Dash. Dame Dash is his own boss. Jay-Z lays in the bed with these big conglomerates. So, as a consequence, Dame Dash gotta go. You not going this way. Dame Dash, you're not with the go along, get along. You don't go along and get along with their rhetoric. Therefore, you gotta go. And as a consequence, you will be less successful. The go along, get along game, they work with the system. A system is bigger than any individual. Now, us individuals can come together and combat the system, and we'll be better than them and we'll create a new system. But until we do that, this system is bigger than any individual. So Jay-Z separated from Dame Dash. Now I'm the greatest rapper of all time. Now the rhetoric on Jay-Z is so highly, you have to drop that baggage off. So a lot of the times, this system will tell you, we don't like who you with. We don't like who you dealing with. If you want to climb in a sin, you have to leave those people behind. You can't bring them with you. And again, let's stick with Jay-Z. It did no balance. I have no balance towards any of these individuals. I wish them all well. But the truth does not need to be supported. And I keep saying that because I heard Lux say it. And then that shit is so golden. The truth does not need to be supported. It just is what it is. People can feel and think however they want from the truth. But the truth does not need to be supported. Jay-Z and Kanye. Jay-Z and Kanye. Jay-Z and Kanye. Come on, my niggas in Paris. And they going gorillas. That was a cold duo. That was a cold tandem. That was a cold black conglomerate potentially forming, even though they were both under the wing of labels. Had no control over. Soon as Kanye start talking, I know we be the new slaves. I see his blood on the leaves. I see his blood on the leaves. I see his blood on the leaves. These systems are enslaving us, professing more black independence. I don't agree with everything Kanye says in the world. I don't agree with nothing anybody says all the time. I don't agree with Kwame Brown every time he speaks. I don't agree with Malcolm X every time he spoke. But some people put out things in this realm that are substantial, often, frequently, that attack a system in place that don't want to be attacked. So when Kanye West was talking about new slaves and shit, and these DEA teaming up with the CCA and trying to lock me, when he was doing that, guess what Jay-Z started doing? So I gotta start dissociating myself from him. The people that I lay in bed with, they don't like the message in which he's putting out. Why was somebody putting out new slaves, black independence, ownership, moral integrity, unification be somebody that Jay-Z would want to distance himself from? Because the people who Jay-Z lays in bed with, they're not about black independence. They're not about black liberation. They're not about economic gain. These people who he lays in bed with and who everybody in the go along, get along gang Kwame Brown was talking about, their higher ups, they support white supremacy. And no matter how much couple dollars, they're not gonna give you billions, no matter how much of a couple dollars they willing to give you, they're always gonna protect their notion. Let let Stephen Smith, let Stephen A create his own show. Stephen A. Smith. Get cut ties from ESPN, cut ties from everything, and create his own show. Then y'all will see how they really feel about you. Stephen A. think he like them now. Stephen A. thinks that they like him because he's a good boy. You don't breach our contract. You do what we tell you to do. You're exactly what we paid for. Let Stephen A. breach his contract. Y'all gonna see all the slander. You think they don't got slander on everybody? You think they don't hedge their bets? This is a system. This ain't no one random individual working. When you talk about calling Colin Kaepernick a backup quarterback and saying he's doing it for alternative reasons and dismissing his whole stance for an attention grab. That's not one person who made you guys think like that. That's a system in place that tried to spin the narrative. So you think that they can't do the same shit to Stephen A. Smith if they wanted to? If Stephen A. Smith say, you know what, y'all, the NBA, the NFL, the MLB, it's a business. If he just came out there and told the truth, that's all you got to do to get blackballed. Tell the truth. It's a world full of lies. So all you have to do, if Stephen A. came out there, went on YouTube Live and told the truth for an hour, y'all would see this same system kill him metaphorically. They don't have to do it literally. They can do it metaphorically to where he's dead to the minds of you guys. So many people don't respect nothing Kyrie Irving has to say ever anymore because the system told them he was crazy. Like Dave Chappelle said, like my man said in the comments, shout out to my boy. They will dismiss you for crazy once you go against their system. Soon as Dave Chappelle started talking about wearing dresses, being in that sick industry, not wanting to do with that, he found out I was being laughed at. They weren't laughing with me, they were laughing at me, aka I was being a coon on Chappelle's show, and I felt it. And I didn't want to be a coon no more. So I left. So what did the rhetoric change to? He went to Africa. He's crazy. He don't know nothing. He's stupid. Why would he turn down $50 million? When a nigga got ethics, when a nigga got principles, when a nigga stand for something, they might do things that regular motherfuckers can't conceive, can't understand. Why are y'all looking at $50,000 like it'll make you do anything? Why would he turn down $50 million? Because they apparently gave him something he didn't want to handle. The question you need to be asking is why would you turn down $50 million? Why would you turn down $50 million? Because you know what happens when you ask that question? you get to figure out who the fuck you even are. Because if your answer is, there ain't nothing I wouldn't do for $50 million, then you a hoe and you a slave to money. If there ain't nothing you wouldn't do for $50 million, then you haven't established ethical codes or a principle about yourself. Because soon as money come around, nigga, you gonna do whatever. Somebody tell you to diss a black man on TV, i.e. Stephen A., you'll do that for $50 million. Somebody tell you niggas to suck a dick behind the scenes for fame, some of y'all niggas will do it because again, it's $50 million. So when Dave Chappelle leave and turn down $50 million, most you immoral, unempathetic, unscrupulous motherfuckers, oh man, he must be crazy because I'll do anything for $50 million. No backbone, no backbone at all. If you'll do anything for money, that's literally the definition of a hoe. As you see, hear the sirens. That's the definition of a hoe. You'll do anything for money. But yeah, to the point of my man, they're gonna dismiss you as crazy. So they can do that to Stephen A. soon as he go against the system. So people really have to ask themselves when you see these figureheads in positions that they're in. The people y'all see and hear every day. If you see them on TV every day, if you hear them on the radio every day, they are simply being supported by this system that you know is corrupt. That simple. It's that simple. We don't have to make this shit complicated. Why make it complicated? Premise one, do you think this system is just? If you say no, we can move on. We accept the premise that this system is not just. Some of y'all may disagree, but if we accept this premise, let's move forward. Premise two, ESPN, Disney, Fox, CNN are all subsets of this system. Oh, we can agree on that premise. So premise one, systems corrupt. Premise two, these media outlets are a part of the system. Premise three, the people who work for those media outlets are working for the system. If we can conclude those three, then Stephen A. Smith, Stephen Jackson, Matt Barnes, Jalen Rose, anybody on these channels and these outlets, CNN, Fox, they're working for corruption. That's it. That's why it takes Kwame Brown to get on YouTube by his lonely. Luckily, he's known. He gained some type of notoriety to get attention to where individuals can take their liberty and click. Luckily, he has comedic humor. Luckily, he can speak well. Luckily, he's not scared to speak about these things. To where now individuals in society, righteous motherfuckers against that same system, can take their autonomy and be like, hey man, I don't know what y'all heard about Kwame, but he's talking that shit. Fuck them 10-second snippets. ESPN ain't gonna do a 10-second snippet of him saying, bitch ass motherfucker, I'll whoop your ass. And then it cut it off. So niggas who watch ESPN is like, hey, Kwame, that guy's crazy. I saw on channel 206 what he did. He just called somebody a motherfucking bitch and was just screaming all day. But no, take your autonomy, watch the whole hour and 10 minutes in its entirety. Then you see that 10-second clip surrounded by subject matter. Surrounded by death. Kwame is fucking these niggas up. And then Stephen A. And granted, again, nigga funny. That's one thing I'm not gonna do. I'm not finna denounce somebody's character or somebody's attributes or characteristics in which I appeal to. Like, for example, LeBron James is a great basketball player, but you think LeBron James is not the biggest puppet for the system in history? If you guys think he has autonomy, if you think he can do what he want, now granted, he's in a position, come on man, he's made trillions. He's made trillions for this world. And he probably ain't even got multi-billions. which is sickening and sad, which shows you slavery at a high level. Many people will say LeBron is not a slave because he makes so much money. Slavery takes different forms. It changes forms. Why would slavery look the same in 2021 as it did in 1865? What kind of stupid ass system would keep slavery looking like it did in 1821 as it does in 2021? It will be changed in a different format to where it's not going to look provocative and offensive. At some point, people caught on, hey, what you're doing is bad. Those are humans, those are people. Okay, the system is like, okay, let's change it up now. How about we employ black codes? How about we make laws that prohibit black people from ownership? How about we make laws that criminalize them more? How about we create a criminal justice system that incarcerates them at a higher capacity, and then we make them niggas work in prison? This is how you restructure enslavement. Right after 1865, this is what came about. Black codes, segregation, Jim Crow laws. That was still slavery, just a different form. Nigga, you guys can argue after 1865 slavery was over. You guys can argue that. One form of slavery stopped. Them niggas continued another form. And in this form today, like Kanye said, we be the new slaves. Old slavery had Mandingo warriors too. Think they didn't have prize fighters? You think they didn't have people they gave luxurious, decadent shit to, as long as they worked for them? LeBron James is a Mandingo warrior. So back to my point though, when it comes to characteristics in Stephen A. I segue a lot, y'all know how I do. LeBron James is a great basketball player. That don't change the fact that he's working for the man. Stephen A. Smith is funny, good with words. That don't change the fact that he's working for the man. Your favorite celebrity, more than likely, is working for the man. Like when you see, all right, when you see Kwame, he has no contracts with any of these people. So he has no obligation or ties to be with the go along, get along gang. Therefore, he can freely express himself about the go along, get along gang without repercussions for his business or without repercussions, yeah, for his well being. Now he has an enemy now. He's taking a stance against a big ass system. But now he doesn't have backlash from calling somebody a bitch ass nigga on his live. So he has autonomy outside of the system. Then you got a Kyrie. It's levels to this shit. You got Kyrie, who's in the system. You got a contract with the NBA, but you don't like the way they handle themselves. You got enlightened while you were in there to realize, damn, I am a slave. I'm a new form of slavery, and the way we're being treated is fucked up. You could tell in Kyrie's first few years he didn't know. Now he's aware, but he's in the system. So somebody like Kyrie can't do what Kwame Brown do still, but you can tell that they're of the same essence in regards to what they see about the system and how they see the system needs to be changed and needs to be fixed. So rest assured, come Kyrie's next contract, he's not gonna, this is my opinion, come Kyrie's next time to sign a contract, he's not gonna sign a contract. To me, he's gonna do something that it depends on, I don't know, y'all could let me know what his contract is looking like when his contract expires. Because if it expires soon, you predicted in Dame's world a nigga retiring at 29. And I'm happy for him because you released them chains, regardless of that money attachment that most motherfuckers appeal to. So you have a Kyrie who I can say things because I'm still an individual. I still have autonomy. That's what all you niggas must tell y'all self. You have the free will and the autonomy to do what you want, even if you're in a system. Now, while you take that mind state, there's still a tangible reality to it. Kyrie, as soon as he say what Kwame Brown say, he gonna have to deal with that system that he signed up for. So he can't take it there, but he can take it as far as his autonomy will let him within that construct to where he won't lose millions of dollars to feed his family and hopefully to bring back to the community inevitably. So he says some shit that's provocative and they slander him. We're going to slander him. We're going to chastise him. We're going to dismiss him. They're going to dismiss both of them. But we're going to dismiss Kyrie and we're just going to put him in a flustering position because at the end of the day, the nigga's still working for us. So you got Kwame on this end of the spectrum, which most people would deem extreme leftist type, very extreme, crazy guy. Then you have Kyrie, who's in the system, but that's the closest representative they're going to deem crazy within the system because he doesn't agree with the system. Then you got LeBron James, somebody like in that, oh no, not LeBron, Kevin Durant, somebody who sees the system as bullshit, but he loved his game of basketball. He might not take too much odds with it like Kyrie. You can see that this may have affected Kyrie Irving internally and in a manner to where he's going to provoke change about himself and this society. He's not going to move the same no more. The Kyrie of yesterday died, literally. This is a new Kyrie we're seeing. Now, Kevin Durant is somebody who sees the media and see they bullshit, calls it out every now and then, quiet. You got it's an essence thing. All these people are different essences, different energies, probably same level of signaling. So he sees the shit, he laugh at it now. He in the system, he see it, he laugh at it. He ain't gonna provoke, he ain't gonna push him too much. But the real gonna recognize the real. Real niggas know KD, he's not just a system baby. He's the greatest player in the fucking league. He's the greatest player on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. So this league is gonna get something. He got to get something out of that league. Shit, that's the league with the highest level of resources. So utilize the resource. He gonna get in and get out type shit. Then you have LeBron James, who to me has never shown any action indicative of going against the system. LeBron James is just like Jay-Z. Those two, they show actions that they'll be Black Lives Matter. Because Black Lives Matter is not a real action of Black power. Black Lives Matter ain't even owned by a Black person. So they will take these, what I call token measures of activism, and they will look like to the masses like they're just the greatest Black man on the planet. All the while laying in bed with the oppressor. All the while making max top dollar for their oppressor. All the while not being able to freely speak and move how they really want to move. At some point, why would Jay-Z and LeBron not be independent in their own? LeBron can start an NBA. You think if LeBron James started another league, people wouldn't go? Why can't he do that? LeBron and a couple other people team up and start their own league. Why do y'all think that hasn't happened yet? Because this system got contractual obligations. Because this system has literally breaches of contract. Because this system owns the motherfucking name LeBron James. When you really want to break down to it. LeBron James don't even own his own fucking name. He can't come out with no LeBron shoes on his own and not get sued by Nike. So you really have to think, and that's that spectrum of the LeBron, Jay-Z's, the figureheads who, to me, they're the sleight of hand masters. They, to the most of the world, most people think that, and again, I'm not saying they are just purely evil. LeBron James could be a righteous person. Jay-Z could be a righteous person. But the truth does not need to be supported. They lay in bed with white supremacists. So their actions are going to be indicative. Until they show actions that show a clear disobedience against white supremacy, you will continue to see them be the face of both of those leagues. Jay-Z will be the best rapper ever. LeBron will be the best basketball player ever. They all align with the system. When you misalign, you get Kobe Bryant. Kobe wasn't a media friend. Kobe was moving with an intentionality towards separating from Nike, separating towards the NBA, being his own individual. Like I said, I'm not a sis. I don't go along and get along. Shout out to Kwame. I'm not going along and getting along. So when you're like that, come on now. Media ridiculed Kobe his whole career. Rape case early. They know. They read you predispositions before they finna sign you. I know your tendencies, I know your habit, I know what type of we are never gonna be able to just completely control this entity, Kobe. He's a free thinker. He thinks. Same way. AC Duck said Kyrie is too smart. Some people actually think. When they know you think, oh yeah, let's look out for him. He might be playing the game now, but keep your eye on him. So you got the spectrums to the shit. Kwame all the way left. Kyrie in the system left. KD, I see the shit, but I'm chilling. Brian, I'm in the system, and I'm straddling both sides of the fence. I love. I'm with my people. I'm for my people. I really think LeBron is a genuine dude. I don't have no malice, no harm. I wish well, but the truth don't need to be supported. He's making trillions of dollars for white supremacy, while collecting his crumbs. You feel me? Hopefully to bring back to the community. I don't know his end game. Hopefully he'll be independent one day. So you have that, and then all the way on the end spectrum, you have the two, either the hopeless or the completely conformed. The hopeless are the players who know they're in it but can't do nothing about it. Fuck it, let's keep working. You know you got some slaves who want to leave. You got some slaves. You got some slaves who want to leave and revolt. You got some slaves who want to leave but are too afraid to. You got some slaves that thinks if we stay here and do what we supposed to do, like Master said, we will get granted freedom. And then you got some slaves who just don't think nothing can change. Nothing can happen, so let me just keep being a slave. So you have those type of players on that end, which is probably the large majority of the NBA and NFL. Man, this system is bullshit, but what the fuck we gonna do? And then all the way on the right, all the way on the end spectrum of a Kwame Brown is Stephen A. Smith, a nigga who vehemently and adamantly supports the system. Oh no, you don't talk about the NBA has been good to black people. That's type of statement Stephen A. Smith would say. You don't just talk about when a nigga speak about owners, compare it to players. It's with all due respect, or well, let me just say I appreciate it. You do all type of disclaimers before you get at a white owner, but when you talking about Kwame Brown, you say his name like that. When you talking about Mike Vick, it's with negative rhetoric. When you talk about Colin Kaepernick, it's with negative rhetoric attached to it. When you talk about Kyrie Irving, it's with negative rhetoric attached to it. So that end of the spectrum, toxic. We can't allow that end of the spectrum. Period. You got the LeBrons in the middle. It's understood. The position he's in, 18-year-old impoverished kid, put into this position. I don't expect him to have all the answers. I just expect him to be righteous within that situation he's in. But Stephen A. Smith, you must go. Like, and some people are so attached to their habit that they would know what to do and still not do it. Some of you niggas know Stephen A. Smith is toxic for the community. Some of you know he's a provocateur and he's not anybody that we're gonna have to keep. Anybody laying in bed with the system of white supremacy, we can't keep around because it's like a spy or a snitch. He got intel, or he's bringing back intel, or deceiving people in a certain way, playing like he's for the community. It's like, no, nigga, you need to go. Get out the community because you a snitch or you a spy. You really working for them. Like I told y'all before, no real ones from third-party discernment. No real ones I see in that league, in that industry, fuck with no Stephen A. Smith. And that's what they don't want to do. AC Duck said, if black athletes straight sit out till further notice, good God. I think it's good God. But think about the power. And again, this is why I say most of the people lie on that end of the spectrum of there's nothing we can do about it. We can't do anything about it. We can't do anything. But if they all took the initiative of yes, we can. And now, yet now that we can, now that we know that we can do something, let's do something. Start small. Sit out this game. Sit out this week. Fuck it. I ain't playing no more. All the black players in all the leagues. Y'all will see the beginning of a revolution right there. Y'all will see the beginning of a revolution right there. You almost saw it. Kyrie prompted it, but again, the go along, get along gang did what they could to dismiss Kyrie, them gatekeepers, the Stephen A's of the world. And then most of the people in the NBA don't think they can do anything to help the situation anyway. They think it's already a lost cause. So when Kyrie prompted that, let's make our own league, let's sit the fuck out. Too many scared Negroes, too many gatekeepers. Like Kwame said, the their power is real. Their power and their influence is real. So these individuals, we just look like individuals when we come to attack. But don't get it twisted. It's a small, unheard community of people knowing about this same system, knowing about this structure, this power structure, making an attempt. But with the forces that shall be, you talk about the alphabet boys. You talk about the alphabet boys, you ain't talking about FBI, CIA, DEA only. You talking about now ABC, NBC, IG, FB, YouTube, this whole system. When I say Kwame Brown versus system, nigga, I ain't playing. When I say Dame's World, y'all know what we doing, Dame's World. Y'all know what we talk about. Anybody who stands for real substance, matter, and truth is somebody the system is going to be against. Shout out to Malcolm X. Shout out to the Black Panther Party movement. Shout out to Philadelphia Move Group. Everything got named. Shout out to the Nation of Islam. All these structures that came to attack white supremacy, other than the Nation of Islam, who has built themselves to be powerful beyond the measure of just being disintegrated, all those other conglomerates, Black Panther Party, Philadelphia Move Group, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Huey P. Newton, Marcus Garvey, the system was vehemently against. Vehemently. That's why most Negroes want you to straddle the fence now. Most Negroes get so scared because they see what happened when you did that. Even from the slavery days, from 1800s, 1700s, the times of when, okay, damn, he tried to run away. He got brought back. And they hung his ass up there and lashed him in front of me. So as a consequence, I'm not finna go do what he did. I'm finna stay my ass in line. I'm finna be a good worker. So you carry on this behavior for 500, 600 years. As a consequence, what you seeing in 2021, when you see somebody prompting an attempt to boycott a league or even stop watching TV, some of us can't even stop. We can't even take our eyes off it. When somebody prompts us to stop watching Stephen A. Smith, our subconscious is so rooted in post-traumatic slave syndrome. Shout out to Joy DeGruy. Go check her out. And that concept, post-traumatic slave syndrome, our subconscious is so rooted in that when people ask us to boycott Stephen A. Smith, we're like, nah, I ain't gonna take it that far. We not willing to take it nowhere. No reach as far as to pushing our agenda and our will in this society. We won't even boycott these institutions. We won't even support our independent people. And when I say we, I say me too. A part of this is myself. I'm unraveling or deconstructing that rhetoric in which I was taught. I was born in California, California in America. You think I wasn't raised on white supremacy structure? I went to school just like most of you niggas. I was taught that black and brown people ain't do shit in society. Matter of fact, the black and brown people outside of America, I was taught was starving. How do you get taught that the richest continent in the history of the world only has starving babies? Feed the children. How many black people y'all know don't even, when y'all talk about vacationing, taking a trip, how many black people y'all know never mentioned one time about going to Africa? You think that's because of their own will? You think that's by accident? That's subconscious engineering. Most black motherfuckers in America want to go somewhere in Europe. And that's not by accident. That's by purpose. So you just look at every action today and you have to, that's why when you know your history, you can get a better sense of self and you can get a better sense of how you want to move and whether or not you moving on the basis of just history. Some people are moving so subconsciously based on gene expressions that they've never tapped in and actualized and asked themselves if this is how I want to move. We subconsciously move like slaves. Black folks in America, for the most part, generally, you're seeing some black folks start to actualize, realize who they are, get a sense of self, and move accordingly. And moving like a black person in society, in American society, is going to look like a contradiction because you're not going to be moving nothing like society. Melanated people have a different diet, more vegetation based, less meat based, no dairy. So as a consequence, we don't eat the American diet. In order to tap into your consciousness, you might have to wean away from the American diet. Almond milk for you. So when you see somebody moving in that light, you see them directed towards their consciousness, but more often than not, what do you see in the black community? Look at our diet. And when I say diet, not just what we eat, what we get in regards to signaling. Our diet is trash. Our doctrines are trash. We're sending our kids to Eurocentric schools knowing that these schools are here to prepare them to be mentally enslaved to their ideas. We willingly do this now. At some point, it got to shift. At some point, whoever watching this video, you have to take accountability for the collective diaspora. We're still economically at the bottom, black and brown. As far as education goes, our ideas aren't even professed. Our ideas aren't even professed. So that should tell you how far we are. Most people, okay, we have to appeal to European sources to get information about how to be better about ourselves. So if we were to learn, like let's say you got an ailment, your stomach hurt, you're gonna go to a European doctor that'll tell you what to do for a European about a stomach ache. But if you had ties to your roots, if you are informed about Africa past the diaspora, you might refer to Dr. Africa or Dr. Sebi or somebody who's going to give you something holistic and natural, catered toward your whole history and your existence that was taken from you when you went to America. Black Americans today, we eat a European diet, we buy into European information, and we don't know nothing about our own essence, what we should be doing. I'll drop the gem. Most of our shit is Eastern. Go look at Eastern Asian principles, and you'll see it be analogous to the Afrocentric principles. Community, having a sense of self-worth, knowing self, practicing things about self like meditation, to really tapping into your consciousness. People are more, I won't say more religious, people are more godly. If you talk to people in these regions, when they come visit here, you know, want to know the distinguishing quality that they say about people here? You guys are just angry. You guys are just angry, anxiety. And like, I talked to an East African, I talked to a West African, one from Ghana, one from Ethiopia. I talk to, whenever I get a chance to talk to somebody outside of this country, I take that chance and just to see the perspective because perspective is reality. Reality is reality, but humans have subjective realities. So that makes perspective reality in the human realm. It is what it is outside already, baby. We can't change that. But the human perception is going to be so varied depending on where you were and who you are as an individual. So I talk to people and the same rhetoric is your guys' wave. We can't feel it because we're in it. You won't know you in toxicity until you climb out and see what it's not. Then when you climb back in, it's like when you leave your neighborhood and then you go to a nice, good neighborhood, and then you come back to the neighborhood like, damn, this what I've been living in, festered in. So as Americans, we don't know the climate until we really get out. Every time I talk to a person from the Eastern region, they be like, it's no peace here. And we have economically white supremacy and colonialism has tried to disintegrate Africa. But Africa is so resourceful naturally. They have just cobalt. You feel me? They have things that the world needs naturally, grown, groomed, organically. So they're still going to be richer than every other continent. But because colonialism knows this, white colonialism knew this, they try to deplete them of their resources. So people in these regions will tell you, look, even though this is going on and some people may not have much, they still good. There's still happiness. There's still a collective wave in which is beyond this tangible realm. Our wave is materialist, non-collective. There's a difference between individuality and individualism. Individuality is like expressing yourself in the manner, like right now, I put on this shirt because I like this shirt. I put on this beanie because I fuck with this beanie. I got these locks because that exemplifies who I am. Even this fucking beaded thing, example, that's individuality. Individual individualism, however, is me looking out only for self. Not thinking that if I assist this person, that it'll benefit from me. It's more so thinking from a business realm than a visceral, moral, empathetic realm. So when I ask people from outside this country, the biggest difference, it's simply that. Outside of this country, there's a collectivist effort for the people. Inside this country, there's an individualist effort, materialist effort, lacking continuity. And if I could bring it reverted all the way to the Kwame Brown situation, that's what he's up against. When it's Kwame Brown versus the system, this system is individualism, capitalistic, racist, sexist system, and we all know it. And we all know it. If you don't know it, then hey, you might be watching Stephen A. Smith and Max every day. You might be watching Channel 2, Channel 11 every day. You might be getting fed signals, keeping you on this frequency to not be in the know. But if you still believe that this system isn't corrupt, it honestly ain't nothing I could do for you at Dame's World. It's nothing I could tell you. You might be too deep in. You're gonna have to do some you're gonna have to do some self-assessing, some digging to find your own principles within as far as what you stand for. What it means that you watch Stephen A. Smith every day. What does that even indicate? The fact that you watch Charlamagne the God every day. Because for me, I don't I ain't gotta ask people what they believe. Just watch their behavior. Why would I ask you what you believe in? Oh, I believe in Christianity. Okay, these are words. I don't know if his words are applicable. I don't even know what Christianity means to this person to detail how he should move as a quote unquote Christian. So let me see his actions. You don't have to look at, you don't have to hear nobody or ask nobody they believe. Look at their actions. If you watching Stephen A. Smith every day, if you listening to Charlemagne the God every day, you believe in white supremacy. You believe in the system. It's time to get away. It's time to get away. It's time to get away, people. It's really that simple. Hour 15, we rambling, but essentially, 2 reasons why I did this video. To let you niggas know, Kwame Brown wasn't playing with these niggas. Kwame Brown is winning the battle against a system. Now, it's a battle because the system is so strong. They gonna keep this shit going. Fortunately for us, Kwame Brown is a strong black man, and he been keeping it going. And even more fortunately, some people have opened their eyes to receive the message and not just denounce the messenger, because most of the robots will do this. Oh, who is Kwame Brown? He wasn't even good at basketball. He's nobody. That's how belligerently ignorant some people are, that they will denounce the whole message that this motherfucker laid out and look at the messenger and be like, okay, none of the messages are good. A broke clock is right twice a day. So I'm gonna peep the message regardless. I don't give a fuck if somebody on the street I don't know is telling me something. I'm not finna be like, okay, you on the street, I don't know you, isn't. I'm gonna hear the message. Whether or not it's sound is independent of that person who gave the message. So I'm just here to say Kwame was on you niggas. I'm here to say Dame is back. I'm probably gonna be doing a live weekly every Sunday. Today, Tuesday. It's just because I just got from suspension. You feel me? YouTube suspended me for making one of the coldest videos. I don't know how y'all gonna be able to watch it. Maybe y'all tap into me. I'll send you niggas a link or Instagram or something. But so this one was just an impromptu. But every Sunday I'm probably finna do one of these. You feel me? With my core group of motherfuckers. We're gonna tap in. But for right now, it's your boy Dane. Peace. Let me know your thoughts on this whole Kwame Brown situation. I will say I'll end with this. There's no malicious nature towards anyone. However, all this shit is deeper than our ego. It's deeper than everyone's ego. If we want to thrive as a conscious collective and better ourselves, this ain't even just black now. This is about the collective wave. Because at the end of the day, if you improve the black situation, the brown situation, the woman situation, what people may not know is everybody else will benefit from that. Higher consciousness is an energy. It'll remove the egotistical way more so. So when you get people to actualize and get the resources they need, they have a better chance of being a higher version of self. And as a collective, if we're all a higher version of self, it's utopian almost. So that's the mission. That's what's being striven for. So in the process, it's gonna have to be calling out the Stephen A. Smiths, be calling out the Steve Harveys of the world. The motherfuckers so happy to get a bag that they can't, you feel me? Oh man, I ain't saying that, nigga. You trying to ruin my bag. I seen Steve Harvey do a motherfucking award show and pretty much try to dissociate himself from anybody talking real, cussing. Oh, y'all cussing, y'all trying to ruin my bag. Y'all trying to get me fired. He don't know how Uncle Ben he was looking at that moment to me. But perspective is everything. Shout out to him. I be dissing niggas, but shout out to them. I just diss when I see the characteristics I don't align with. It's nothing against the energy, but if they got energy towards me, I'm gonna defend myself as a man. So whatever the case, diss me, whatever. I don't give a fuck. So it's just that nature. We got a rig. No more cooning. No more. Okay. Working for the system is something that damn near is inevitable. At this point, you got to climb out that rut. Only a small percentage don't work for the system. So working for the system is going to be most of you niggas' realities at some point in your life. But dare not be aware that you're working for a system with the intent to create your own system and build a better system. Don't be the nigga with the head down. Oh man, we gotta do this all day, and then you can't produce no thoughts or no actions that can help the situation. Be the nigga in the system knowing that I'm in this fucking system and now I'm taking measurements to create my own system or to get into a better communal collective system for the people. And that's why Kwame Brown is whooping niggas ass, because he's not for that old system. It's a new system in place in which he's helping. He's talking about helping in communities. He's talking about building with people outside of the system. He's actually building and helping, doing the things that he's saying. If you just do a little bit of research or whatever he's been doing, he's talked about it. So yeah, man, we just on that wave in Dame's world. Same shit. Let me know your thoughts, your comments. Hour 21. Nigga gotta go meditate, you feel me? Gotta have some me time now. But I'll holla. Sunday we'll be back. It's your boy Dane. We're back, YouTube, even though y'all didn't want me.